Greetings. Dennis Fair, retired member of the Metropolitan Police Department of Washington, D.C., serving 29 years of uninterrupted service, retiring June 8th of 2019. For the most part, these are my professional opinions. Anything as far as advice that I give you is not legal advice. It's just basically common sense and professional experience based on my time spent with the Metropolitan Police Department and law enforcement. For the most part, I just get that out of the way in case somebody says, well, you said this and I did it and this is what happened and it didn't happen like you said it would happen. I'm not giving you legal advice. You got some weird people out here that don't have common sense and they'll take things like this and run with it. So I just get a disclaimer for those who lack common sense, because there's a lot of individuals like that. Common sense is not as common as you think. It's rare these days. I'm going to discuss something in reference to Black Friday. A lot of you will probably go shopping in the malls. That's not my personal thing. Something that I do is just limited selection in the mall. I spend a lot of time online shopping for clothes and all types of various other things. Much bigger selection, but I understand that if you are an individual that likes to go to the mall and actually shop, a lot of our women, of course, love the malls and to shop. And not only is it just a woman's thing, it's a festive thing to go out and spend time in the malls and just, maybe having some drinks while you're out and, of course, responsibly. But I get it. I just wanted to encourage you, if you haven't watched the video that's still here on Black Friday, don't be a victim. I encourage anyone that's going shopping physically in malls, please watch the video for your own safety. The only thing that I'm going to add with this video that wasn't really a real big thing when I did that video in reference to Black Friday is the credit card skimmers. Now, the credit card skimmers, that's going to be a big thing this season. And basically what you need to look out for is something that looks, for the most part, the same as a credit card, the machine that you would stick your credit card in or tap. Most of these credit card skimmers can be purchased online. I know you're probably asking yourself, well, why would they sell them online? You can buy anything online. As far as illegal, there are places that sell all types of various illegal things. As a matter of fact, if you don't believe me, Google credit card skimmers for sale and watch it up. Watch the number of websites that come up. You can buy them. And a lot of people often ask, well, what do I look for? It's some that are very obvious. There are others that are so professionally done that they fit right on top of the real one. And not to mention, there are situations where they have cameras. Very small cameras that can take a picture of your credit card, record your entering the PIN number. And you ask yourself again, how do these things get on machines in department stores, gas stations, and various other business locations? Well, first of all, sometimes the store owners or the workers in the stores are in on it. Sometimes when these individuals go to 7-Elevens and things like that, obviously the individual may not be at the register, may have to move around. People that are really professional can get it on there that quick. You have a lot of ATM machines that you can pretty much do certain things to them at night. The ATM cameras in most cases are not live monitored 24/7. A lot of times they're actually recording, but no one is really monitoring it live to see if someone walks up to ATM and is actually fooling around with it. So a lot of them are not live. Then maybe there are some that are live and people are monitoring, but I can honestly say a lot of them are not live video where someone's actually watching and can call the police like, hey, someone's taking the ATM machine out of the bank. They're breaking the ATM machine. A lot of times that's footage that's actually viewed after the crime has taken place. Now, with the ATMs, a lot of times they'll install cameras. You can't see. The technology is real. Got you entering your PIN number. Could take a picture of your credit card. Things like that. You have to be very careful. A lot of times they tell you to cover up the PIN, cover your PIN with your hand. Like sometimes that's cool too, but the bottom line is you really got to pay attention to your surroundings. If something's on the ATM machine that just doesn't look right, touch it. See what it is. Because they often install them on top of ATM machines, and you can, if you really stare, you can tell. But a lot of people are just trying to make it the quickest transaction they can. No one wants to sit at an ATM machine in a drive-through for a long period of time or stand there. You're basically a target, especially if you go at night. It's basically you're not in most cases checking your balance. You're either getting some money or maybe depositing money. So in other words, you really wouldn't be there because you can check your balance online and people see you at the bank. You know, you hate to look at it like it's what you a target. And if you can't avoid going at nighttime or evening hours when the traffic is thin around the bank, try to avoid it. If you have to go at a reasonable time. However, the stores, for example, like even Costco and places like that, where they have most of the time, if you're getting gas and things like that, they have individuals that are constantly monitoring the pumps and things like that. But it can happen anywhere. There's not a specific location that will make you exempt from being a victim. You can go to a no-name gas station and be a victim, and then you can go to an Exxon and be a victim in the same case. So the skimmers are basically everywhere. Now, you again ask yourself, how do they get placed on it? For example, I've talked to some detectives. Some of the individuals that they hire for seasonal employees, like a lot of times your malls and things like that, hire a lot of seasonal employees. The criteria for seasonal employees a lot of times is not as thorough as it is for a regular employee. They need employees that need them quick. So a lot of things are overlooked. A lot of things that they normally would check out, they don't check out because they need employees as soon as possible. And a lot of people, for whatever reason, don't want to work. You know, they want the easy way out. So some people are actually taking the opportunity to work seasonal because that was a time years ago where if you wanted a job, you could get a job during the Christmas season and, you know, Black Friday to the first of the year. Sometimes they would keep you, depending on your work performance. Sometimes they wouldn't keep you. However, what you have is a lot of seasonal employees, as I was saying, they work the night shift. Now, when you have seasonal employees, some type of net in here, but when you have seasonal employees that work the night shift, for example, they are not really monitored. A lot of times they're restocking. And again, when you're dealing with cameras in stores, they're not actually monitoring the store at night for the most part. Now, a lot of times these cameras are actually looked at if obviously an employee is accused of stealing, and they'll go back and review the footage. But if there's no type of accusation of something going on, there's no reason to look at footage. So individuals have from maybe 10 at night to 6 in the morning to do whatever and hook whatever up they want to the registers and what have you. And if there's no specific incident at night, no one is going to even think to go back to that footage. Now, of course, if someone says that their credit card was skimmed at this certain time, they're going to look at the footage from that transaction that person was in the store. No one is going to think to go back to the midnight shift, maybe 3 or 4 days before, and see this individual putting this skimmer on top of the real credit card machine. Like, for example, I'm just using this as an example, Macy's. No one is going to think to do that. This happens a lot of times during various shifts, restocking and things like this. And again, some of your employees are definitely in on it. I've had a situation, for example, went to the Cheesecake Factory a couple of years back, and I was notified by, it was SunTrust at the time, and then at Truist or whatever, but they called me and said my credit card was swiped 3 times. Now, sometimes this is something that you should be alarmed. Sometimes it's something that you shouldn't be alarmed about, because sometimes your credit card, when they swipe it, doesn't go through sometimes. I mean, that just happens. I've used my own debit card or credit card, and I had to do it a couple of times because for whatever reason it wasn't read. That's something, regardless if it's just an error, you still need to check it out. And a lot of people do not check their accounts daily. Me personally, I check my account every day. No, I'm not no millionaire or whatever. It wouldn't even matter. If I was a millionaire, I still would check my account, because there are things that appear on your account that you may not even recognize. Now, sometimes I've checked my account, like, okay, who is this? I never heard of this, not called. Come to find out, it's the dental insurance, but it's in a different name that I wouldn't expect it to be, but I still confirm what it is. If you see something that you're not sure about on your account, make that phone call, because a lot of times you're being a victim of a fraud, and a lot of times you won't even know it because most people don't even check their accounts. You know, unless it's something extreme, like maybe a $1,500 or $400 charge. Then they're like, okay, wait, where did this come from? But if you got a $50 charge, maybe every other week, some people miss that. And that's what they do sometimes. They'll hit you with like that, little small amounts. Most people don't notice, but if you figure if they're hitting each individual every 2 weeks for $50, and maybe they got like 1,000 individuals they're doing this to, once they get your credit card number and that 3-digit number, that you use for security, some people don't even pay attention and will never know this is going on. But to make a long story short, Black Friday is going to be a problem. The whole Christmas season is going to be a problem. Spoken with some individuals that are still actively employed in law enforcement. They have a situation now where individuals are starting to follow the UPS trucks, the FedEx trucks. You have, for example, of course, you're not going to see it on the news because they don't want to scare you, and it's bad for business, to tell you the truth. But I have nothing to gain. I'm not endorsed by FedEx or any types of department stores, so I'm going to give it to you raw with no soda. So what you have is individuals following the UPS truck. Say you have a team of maybe 5 individuals. Now, one individual might be in a Dodge Charger. UPS truck drops a package. That individual stays, once the UPS driver's out of sight, go on the porch, get that package, and move. Now, as that individual stays with that package at that particular address, an individual that's in another vehicle, made, let's say a Chevy Tahoe, picks up behind the UPS truck, then he starts following. Now, once UPS truck stops again, that individual gets out and gets a package. Another individual, let's say in a Toyota Corolla, will pick it up, follow the UPS truck. Basically, what I'm telling you is this is a team of individuals. Sometimes it's a team of 8, and they do this for 8 straight hours and just piggyback and keep flip-flopping on cars like they're following the UPS truck, which they are, but never using the same vehicle, so the UPS driver never notices, wait a minute, same Corolla has been behind me for the past 4 or 5 traffic lights, and come on, something's not right. Not to mention that a lot of times UPS and FedEx and other deliveries, Amazon, they don't have time to pay attention to who's behind them. They're trying to make these deliveries as quick as possible, get these packages off this truck so they can go home. So a lot of times what's going on, these individuals are communicating through cell phone. So a lot of times they'll communicate, and after some individuals were caught maybe a couple of years back and debriefed rather by the detectives, they said that to make a job out of it. They go out each day for maybe 8 hours at the most, and if they get something good, if everybody gets something good, they stop early because they don't want to push their luck. So you're looking at individuals that are basically just guessing and hoping that they get something decent. And I think the individuals say, they got a couple of PlayStation 5s last year, because people do get these types of things delivered. And obviously you can't sit at home if you work and watch your packages. And of course you might have a Ring doorbell. Ring doorbell is pointless if an individual is taking like maybe 6 seconds to go on your porch and grab. Yeah, you may have a description, but that's all you got. Chance the police finding your merchandise, slim to none. And that's a whole nother topic. As far as law enforcement, there are no police officers actually on the street due to retirement, due to the Christmas season, lack of staffing. It's a problem. The retirements, and even in the areas that were deemed so-called safe areas, they're no longer safe anymore. I spoke with a Montgomery County police officer today that I know, and he was telling me the Saks Fifth Avenue on Wisconsin Avenue and Western, right as you cross the line, about 5 or 6 juveniles went in there today, and everybody grabbed a coat and they ran out. Now normally they used to have Montgomery County sitting on that parking lot, but evidently they didn't have them today. Now I don't know whether they were captured or what have you, but it's not even Black Friday yet, and they're already going hard. So if you are out there, if you want to be out there, again, take the time to watch the video that's already on here in reference to Black Friday. Don't be a victim, because it tells you everything that's going to, for the most part, happen, except for, I don't know if I went into carjackings of vehicles. A lot of times people are getting gas, they're not paying attention. You may have a child in the car, you're not paying attention, you got your purse in the back. Individuals low crawl on the ground, open that door, grab that person, crawl on the ground so you can't see them while you're pumping gas, and get right back in another vehicle that's on the other side of the pumps. So if you see a vehicle that's on the other side of the pumps and nobody's pumping gas, they just sit there. Or for example, you can't see anybody in this tinted windows, go to another gas station. Just that simple. Also, in the video on Black Friday, which you need to watch, because I'm not going to elaborate on everything I talked about, because everything is for the most part there except for the credit card skimmers. That's not in there because that wasn't a big thing when I did that video. However, now it's a serious problem, and not to mention the theft from autos. Everybody goes to the mall. However, you run out of trunk space if you got a whole lot of people with you, or maybe 4 or 5 girlfriends or the fellas. Everybody's shopping for a loved one or what have you. You may run out of space in the trunk, so therefore your packages stack up in the back seat. Guess what? They're visible, and at that point, your vehicle's going to be 9 times out of 10 broken into. So these items don't need to be visible. What happens a lot of times with these types of situations, individuals will communicate through cell phones. Now, there was a time when some were doing it through two-way radio, because you can't really trace a two-way radio. If they get caught, they'll be able to get a warrant to find out specifically when these cell phones were used and where these individuals in the vicinity of where the theft took place. So a lot of times the real professional criminals will use real expensive two-way radios. Make a long story short, what they're doing, you get out of a car, you may have packages in the back, somebody's on the parking lot or in the garage that looks like maybe they're getting ready to go shopping. They're not doing that. They're watching the individuals, and they may get out of the car and actually follow the people as they go in the mall and communicate back and forth with individuals that's still on the lot, letting them know, hey, you got some time. They in Foot Locker. They're not coming back no time soon. What you got in there? What does it look like? Oh, man, it's a pair of Jordans in here. We got some Jordans. How's it look right now? How much time we got? I'm going to go in the trunk. Still got good time in there in Macy's now. We're about 4 or 5 feet away from them. I'm watching them. They're looking at their clothes. There's 4 females. Okay, one is in Victoria's Secrets. You still got plenty of time left. Go ahead. And they communicate like that. Yeah, that's pretty technical, but when you are proficient at what you do, even if it's a criminal situation, it is what it is. Some of these individuals are not just dumb. It's dumb to be stealing somebody's property that's not yours, because at any given time, you never know what could happen. This individual might be armed. It could go bad for the criminal. You never know. But what I'm saying is, these individuals take the time to communicate and actually have individuals working as a team. So a lot of times you got females that are distracting people, and you got pickpocketers. That's still a thing as well. But again, if you are going out for Black Friday, you definitely need to watch that video in reference to don't be a victim, because I'm not gonna have to tell you how hard times are and how reckless people are now. And if you get into a situation where somebody's got your parking space, you've been waiting for a space, somebody pulls it, just find another space. It's not worth going through the motions of possibly getting shot, because these individuals will shoot you for blowing the horn. And even with me, I'm kind of more diplomatic now, because although I got a gun on me most of the times I'm out, I don't leave home without it, just like an American Express. It's no help to me if I don't get my shot off before they get their shot off. The quickest reaction is action, not reaction. Now, if he starts shooting or she starts shooting at me because I blow the horn, I got to actually take the time to draw my weapon, pull my weapon out of the holster, and then try to defend myself. Hard to defend yourself when you're being shot at. That's very hard. And it's no guarantee you're going to get your shots off if this person's in close range, or they just start firing and squeezing that trigger 10, 15 shots. Nope. Your first thing is to take cover, try to get out of the way of them bullets versus firing back, because you need to see what you're firing back at, first of all. That's a whole nother situation, but I'm just giving you a heads up. You don't need to be out there arguing with individuals that over some traffic stuff or something foolish that's just not worth you losing your life. It's happening on a regular basis with the road rage, individuals shooting at each other for cutting each other off. I mean, it's a kind of foolish situation to put your freedom, your life up. You might be dealing with a police officer. You fire the police officer, show him that gun. He might just pretty much do what he's supposed to or she's supposed to do and defend themselves within reason, of course. And then you lose your life or you go to jail. And individuals don't mind 5 to 10 seconds worth of work to spend the rest of their life in jail. They're demonstrating that every night. Individuals are killing one another all throughout the city. It's starting to get a little more publicity because it's in Capitol Hill, it's in Georgetown. They're getting robbed over there. Now it's starting to become be a big deal because it's in the so-called safe areas, which really don't exist. That's another topic that I've discussed. But because this is happening all over the city, it's not just DC now. It's in Maryland. I don't know if you all caught the news or familiar with Clyde's that's on Wisconsin Avenue and Western. About a week ago, some individuals went in an altercation. And Clyde's used to be a laid-back spot. I know I used to frequent it periodically. Me and my wife would go up there and just get away from the riffraff for the most part. You know, it was just a laid back spot. Not as popular as Fridays, but just a laid back spot. Get some good drinks, good food, good atmosphere, watch sports. About 2 weeks ago, a week ago, some individuals got an altercation. Dude, went outside. Individual pulled a weapon and shot one of the individuals. Now you already know how many cameras are around Clyde's. But again, the individuals don't mind 5 to 10 seconds of stupid actions to possibly kill someone, be killed, or spend the rest of their life in jail. The fact of your freedom, not saying your freedom, but the fact that the individual's freedom, their life, it just doesn't matter to them no more. Anytime you're willing to do something that's stupid at Clouds or anywhere like that over altercation, just shows you have no value for life or your freedom. So I'm telling you, use common sense, use discretion, be a little political if it gets to that point. Don't be a hero and kirk out or lose and an individual end up pulling a weapon or doing something to you, knowing that maybe the individual will get caught. But even if the individual is caught, I don't have to tell you how the court system pretty much is working in the criminal's favor. I think DC Council is trying to reduce mandatory sentences. I mean, it's almost a situation where they really want to encourage individuals to go out and commit crime, go out and shoot each other. If you really think about it, why would you want to lower the mandatory minimum that will possibly deter things if you start giving individuals mandatory minimums when they get caught? The city council and what have you wants to stop that. They're just picking on them because they're black or it's too many individuals incarcerated. They come up with a whole lot of foolishness. Bottom line is, there needs to be accountability. I don't care if you black, I don't care if you white. If you go out here and shoot somebody or kill somebody over a car or over a coat or stab somebody because something they said on Instagram or some foolishness because they made a rap song, amateur rap song dissing your neighborhood, and you go out there and kill them, or we got to get the op and all that stupidness, you deserve to spend the rest of your life in jail. Don't care. I don't care if you had a rough life or you ain't had parents or whatever. You got enough sense to not walk in front of a car. You got enough sense to walk across the street and look both ways without putting your hands over your eyes. So you're not that it's not that serious as far as you came up rough and you're traumatized. You're not that traumatized where you don't know right from wrong. That's no excuse. I think you should spend the rest of your life in jail. I could care less, even if it was my own daughter. So that's how I'm getting down. I'm not one of these individuals who say, well, you know, it happens. Same example, my daughter go out here and commit a heinous crime and kill somebody. I feel the same way about her. Now, of course, I would be hurt, be disturbed, but I'm not one of these parents that's going to sit here and sugarcoat it and be a hypocrite and talk all that mess. I'm not going to say the curse words because, like I said, sometimes people let their children watch, and I have respect for kids so they can always watch what I say without it being, belligerent or reckless in nature with the comments as far as profanity. But if it was my daughter, I'd be hurt, but put her under the jail too. You go ahead and kill somebody else's child, and I raised you better than that? Nah, you got to go too. I don't have no sympathy, and I'll do what I can as far as on the outside, write letters and what have you, but she made that choice. You know what I'm saying? I didn't raise her like that. Of course it would hurt me as a man and a father to my child, but you got to deal with them consequences. The accountability is not, you're not immune to it because your father was a police officer. I don't have to tell you, teachers, police, and other individuals with highly prestigious jobs have some of the worst kids in the world. And it's not necessarily because you were a bad parent. Sometimes you can do everything you want right as far as raising a child, and they still go to the left. I've seen it happen. I've seen individuals that had everything they wanted in life, no missing meals or no coming up hard, or when we came up we had to walk miles to school, none of that stuff. And they still went to the left because they wanted to be a thug. They wanted to sell drugs. And the parents gave them everything they wanted, but they still wanted to be on that thug side or wanted to be respected, so they ended up getting killed or going to jail, or by the time they finally got their life together, they couldn't get the job that they really wanted because basically they wasted all the time in jail and in their young part of their life doing dumb stuff. So sometimes when you decide to change your life and get your life together, it's a little too late. After maybe you've done 10, 15 years in jail, try to come home, oh yeah, I got myself together. Nobody's hiring you. Where you been for the past 10 years? What's your job history look like? Oh man, I was away in Petersburg, for 10 years. Somebody might give you a chance, but I can assure you, you're not going to be making no 100K or nothing like that. It'll be barely enough to live off of. And then what happens when you get frustrated and that finance is not coming in like you wanted to? You can go back to doing what you know how to do. And guess what? You're going to get caught again and you're going back to jail. You'll get caught again, you're going back to jail. The way they got the system set up now, which is a whole nother topic I'm going to go into with reference to the gun violence and all, but I just wanted to get this out there for Black Friday. I was getting ready to say Good Friday, but Black Friday, because it's going to be a lot of victims out there. If you don't believe me, all I'm asking you do watch the video on Black Friday, Don't Be a Victim, that I have. Share it with somebody that you know that's going to the mall and physically shopping. Because it's real. It's going to be a lot of victims out there. They're not a lot of police. I talked to the Montgomery County officer. They don't even have police officers because of vacations, retirements, and just the lack of interest in the occupation. Nobody wants to be a police officer. I mean, it's not so much that they don't want to be a police officer because they want to violate people's rights. You got some police officers that do violate people's rights. I'd be lying if I tell you that it doesn't happen. It's going to always happen. You also got surgeons that mess up and kill people, and that's never even talked about. They cover it up because other surgeons know what happened, and that gets swept under the carpet. It's no occupation where you don't have issues as far as individuals doing the wrong thing. And then when it comes down to law enforcement, of course they're supposed to be held to a high standard. Is that always happen? Absolutely not. But nowadays, individuals don't want to be police officers. Prime example, George Floyd situation. Derek Chauvin should be in jail for the rest of his life. And I'm not talking about no time where he gets released. He should just spend the rest of his life in jail till he's dead. But, excuse me, there were two maybe 2 or 3, I don't know how many exactly, probationary officers there. And I think one of them was holding George Floyd's leg. The other, I think, might have been just standing there. They're going to jail just for being there for the most part. 2 years for the officer that might have been standing there because he was just on the scene. He's being trained. He's just there. His career is over. He's going to do some time. 2 years is not a lot. Maybe he'll get a job somewhere else. Some individuals do things like this, and other departments will hire them. That's just how it is. Some other, the individual that shot the kid, last name Price, I think, got a job somewhere else, and then they found out, publicized it, and then he eventually resigned. But there are other law enforcement agencies, even if the individuals do something very heinous and get fired and even actually do time, some law enforcement agencies will just dismiss it and bring them right on with no problem. That's just how it is. Should that happen? Absolutely not, but it does. Just like there's some people that probably work in your space or where you work right now that shouldn't be working there. And you know how many times they messed up, but somehow they always keep getting a break. It happens. It happens just like that in law enforcement, so it's no different than any other occupation. It's just that in law enforcement, you have more freedom and power than just about anything. You have the power to take an individual's freedom. That's a lot of power. You have the power to physically harm an individual. You have the power to take a life if deemed necessary and lawful. That's a lot of power. Now, should some of these officers have that power? Absolutely not. Some of these officers are just as clueless as a penny with a hole in it. That means they're worthless. They serve no purpose, but somehow they squeezed through the academy. They made it. Somebody gave them a break, and now they're on the street carrying a gun, which is sad. But again, I'm not exaggerating, there are no police on the street. You will see exactly what I'm talking about as we get into Black Friday. Today is Wednesday. Got a few days. For the most part, it's about to be Wednesday. Let me see what time it is. Yeah, it's Wednesday. So it's going to be some serious problems as far as what's going on out here in these streets. Just like things that you might want for Christmas that you're focused on, 3 or 4 people are focused on taking it from you. So keep that in mind when you go to these malls. the calls for service are outnumbering the police. And what that basically means is there's so many calls for service in reference to robberies, assaults, and things like that. There's not enough police to even actively patrol or be in these malls, and a lot of times as far as the garages. Now, you may see a lot of police officers around the mall and things like that, but in the parking garages where you're indoors, you're not going to see police actually physically driving up around the ramps to the parking garage, things like that. It just doesn't happen. The garages are so crowded, the police don't want to get stuck in a crowd in case a priority call comes out, then they need to get out of there quick. They're not going to be able to. So when you go into these parking lots, they have garages. Be aware of your surroundings, because if you're not, a lot of times you have individuals following you to your car, following you home, or just following you from store to store. And eventually, once you put a lot of stuff in there, they'll break into your vehicle. Individuals will tell you, just like undercover police will follow you, and you will never know they're behind you. A lot of times these individuals will follow you. They're not directly behind you. They're in either the far right lane or they're in the far left lane. So if you're looking in the rearview mirror, you're not going to pay attention. Even if you are observing, they're in the left lane and the far right lane. And actually, I know that works because before I retired, we would do things like that when we were working on situations when prostitutes were picked up, and we would pull them over, an individual. Okay, how you doing, sir? Is this your wife? And yeah, well, this is my wife. What's her name? Individuals can't tell her name. Just a long story short, but it just goes to show you can be tailed, and if you're not paying attention, you'll never know you're being followed. And that's what happens a lot of times. Individuals will follow you from mall to mall, and once you load up, they'll take the time to actually do this and then break into your car once they see you put a whole lot of bags in the trunk. And most of the times with the trunk, you're able to get to the trunk once you break the windows out and pull those seats down. Most of the seats have that safety feature so that they can fold down and they can get to your stuff in the trunk without even opening your trunk. So if you're going out, be aware of your circumstances. I would suggest getting gas maybe a day before it gets crowded, so you don't have to stop at the gas station, because everybody's going to be getting gas. And if it's cold, but in this particular case, it's not going to be real cold. I think it's supposed to be close to the 60s, so you won't have people pumping gas for the most part and leaving the engine running. They shouldn't, because regardless if you have a child inside, it doesn't hurt to turn the car off. So what, the child gets cold, baby or what, is not going to be pumping gas for an hour. Take that time to take the keys out the ignition, turn the car off, let the baby get cold. If it's not like it's going to freeze back there, all the heat is not going to get out your vehicle because you got out to pump gas. Just use a little common sense and think about the child. Now, if you want to be reckless and leave the car running, if it's just you, that's on you. But the child can't make decisions and pick their parents. So a lot of times, if a parent does something negligent, and a lot of times they don't charge the parent, which I think they should charge the parent, even if it's an accident. I know you didn't mean to leave the child back there. You didn't pay attention that somebody was steal a car because it was so-called in a safe area. I was on Wisconsin Avenue. I didn't think this was happening. You should still be held accountable to some form of negligence, because now someone jumped in the vehicle because you left the vehicle running, which is against the law anyway, and idling. You weren't in control of the vehicle. Joker jumped in, pulled off, tore the pump off the gas pump, and now that's flapping in the wind, and your child is in the back seat. Come on now. The individual had no intention on taking the child, but because of your negligence and stupidity, you know what I'm saying, regardless of whether it's accident, it's straight stupidity. You got a child in the back, you're not thinking. You know what I'm saying? The kids can't pick their parents. And that's a problem, because a lot of them, if they could pick their parents, they would have took them back to the store and got the money back. You know what I'm saying? I know that sounds kind of weird, but to make a long story short, it's sarcasm, but it just goes to show you some of the parents out here are absolutely worthless. You know what I'm saying? And if you're not one of them, it doesn't apply to you. If you are offended that I just said that, it might apply to you. My skin is tough. I'm not really bothered by comments. Every now and then I get some comments, or individuals leave some comments that don't really make sense, or it's not really like that, or you just say that because you were a police officer. Whatever. I welcome the comments, whether they're negative or good. I just encourage individuals to share the content, especially the Black Friday, because there's going to be a lot of victims. And I'm just saying, if you watch the video, don't be a victim. If you go into these stores, look at the machine. Don't get so over excited where you're not even paying attention. You're like, damn, I knew the thing was loose. You get home, couple of $1,000 already charged on your account. Most of the time you're going to get that money back, but you're not going to get that money back overnight. That's going to take a minute. They send you the documentation out for you to sign that, hey, I did not have anything to do with this. You have to sign. So basically they do a little investigation and you'll eventually get your money back. But again, it doesn't come overnight. So it's an inconvenience, especially if that's a Christmas bonus, that's a Christmas money. Somebody hits you for maybe $2,000 that you had in that account to do some shopping. It's going to hurt. That's going to spoil a lot of people's Christmas, including yours. So you got to use some common sense. Share, subscribe. I'm not doing this for finances, obviously, because it's not that many subscribers, because I'm not talking stupid. Now, if I was talking stupid and cursing and saying something reckless, I have 1 million followers or subscribers, whatever you want to call them. That's not what I'm in it for. I'm in it to give back. I don't have to give back. I choose to do it, you know what I'm saying, because obviously somebody encouraged me and gave me throughout life. So, again, I could just chill and live the life of leisure that I'm living, but I still choose to enlighten and educate individuals, because there are a lot of individuals that don't know, damn, I ain't think about that. These guys at the pump with tinted windows, I just saw that and I just went ahead and went to another gas station. And then he saw on the news when he got home, somebody was carjacked at the spot. Yeah, you just made yourself not be a victim when you saw it and you happened to see a video of mine. And this actually happened, but not in that particular scenario. Someone saw a video of that I had put up. I believe it was in Texas. The lady had wrote that she saw the car, looked kind of suspicious, so she left and went to the gas station. When she saw the news, I think the next day, the gas station was robbed. And they put everybody, for the most part, at gunpoint inside the store. She was getting ready to go into the mini market to get a few items and then pump some gas. She left because the car was just sitting there with tinted windows. What they were doing was casing the location and waiting for the most part everybody to clear from the gas part of the gas stations part of the area and go in the store and rob it real quick. And that's what they did. So watching the video probably saved her from being robbed. I mean, nobody was shot or injured, but you never know how that could turn out. But everybody did have their wallets taken, their cell phones taken. And of course, you can replace the money and the material things, but to cancel every credit card and try to figure out what credit cards you had in your wallet, sometimes that's a difficult task because you just don't know. Some credit cards you may not even use, but they're in your wallet. Your ID, they can do all types of stuff with identification. Make an identity and use, just it can complicate your life when someone else has your license or whatever. Next thing you know, you got a warrant. Somebody's used your information and put another name to it. Now you got a felony warrant because that's the name they gave when they got arrested, or that's the ID they showed, and they had a picture of them on your ID, which a lot of individuals do. It's not hard to do if police not really paying attention. They don't even realize that this is a picture you could peel off. It's a picture of that person, but it's got all your information. So they hand them the ID, enter it into the system, thinking that this is the person. Next thing you know, you got all types of charges. So like I said, I'm just trying to, for the most part, get some search information. It's for the most part just to let you know, watch the video, Black Friday, don't be a victim. Because this year, it's going to be a whole lot of criminal activity because individuals are not working. Sometimes they're not working by choice. Individuals are falling on hard times. Sometimes that's not by choice. Some people have substance abuse problems, liquor, alcohol, all types of drugs. And I ain't got to tell you, for the most part, if you go anywhere driving, you roll down your window, you smell marijuana. Somebody in a car smoked out. So a lot of times you got a lot of impaired drivers. Not talking about alcohol. I'm talking about alcohol. The youngins are popping Xanax or whatever that is. The prescription pills. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but you get what I'm saying. Percocet. They're crumbling up Percocet on the weed, smoking it. Fentanyl is a big thing now amongst the youngins. Years ago, we called them pill heads. I mean, we looked down on clowns like that was doing pills. Back in the day, the pill thing was like a suburban thing. Rich kids were doing all that, all the pills and stuff. But now it's the youngins. It's just the generation of them now. They're doing all types of pills, and a lot of times there's a lot of ODs within the young community, fentanyl. It's taking a lot of them out. No, you're not going to see that on the news because they just not going to publicize. Certain things don't make the news. Like, for example, juveniles in D.C. and Maryland, but I'm speaking on D.C. specifically, are getting killed damn near every other night or getting shot at least. That doesn't make the news because the media doesn't see it as worthy news unless maybe it's a homicide or 2 or 3 individuals are shot at one time. They say that it happens so much it's not really news anymore. So now it's starting to get a little airplay because individuals are getting shot, Capitol Hill, individuals getting robbed in Georgetown, individuals getting carjacked at DuPont Circle. Now it's a problem because it's in the so-called, and it's I always say so-called, affluent areas, which I've always known they're not immune from crime, but now individuals are realizing that you can go to Georgetown and rob somebody and get away. Years ago, the police was so thorough back in the day, you couldn't get out of Georgetown or half of these areas if you stuck somebody up because it was going to be a perimeter put up. But now, officers not getting involved in that. They're not doing anything, answering the calls for radio assignments, no proactive policing, no traffic stops. As a matter of fact, if you drive or commute anywhere, when was the last time you saw an officer on a traffic stop? I wish I had a little thing where I could play some cricket noises because that's about it. You're not going to really see that. I've spoken to officers that say they're not doing any more traffic stops because they don't want to be accused of racial profile. And next thing you know, you're fired or terminated or put on some form of non-contact because you've been accused of racially profile. And you get that. A lot of times I used to get it. Had an individual tell me, man, you just pulled me over because I was black. They didn't have the body-worn cameras when this particular incident happened. And I told the individual straight up, I said, I don't know if you noticed, but I'm black. He really didn't know what to say. He had a dumb look on his face. Now, was I supposed to say that? Absolutely not. That falls under conduct unbecoming because it's a form of sarcasm that really wasn't necessary. Sometimes people will pull you out of character. And when he said that, I was kind of offended. I'm like, okay, I pulled you over because you were parked abreast, double parked. You were holding me up. I couldn't go around you because I'm in a service roadway. I'm not going to go around nobody in a marked police car in a full uniform. That's just not going to happen. Today you will see officers do that. They don't want to deal with the riffraff. They'd rather go around you and they hit that air horn or turn the lights on to make you move. I've seen individuals on cell phones pull up right beside a police officer and the officer just keep looking forward like he got blinders on. Don't want to get involved. Just want to collect the check, go home, answer the radio, come back and do it all over again to retirement. You have no active policing. It's just not happening. And again, when you can't get members of the society to take a $20,000 incentive, signing bonus, I think it's $2,000 towards your rent and 2 weeks a week in a hotel, and they still can't get police, that's telling you something. And it's not just D.C., it's Montgomery County. Every jurisdiction, for the most part in the United States, is having a problem getting and retaining police officers. They're quitting, resigning, or just being terminated or what have you. And it's a problem. It's a serious problem, but it's not going to change. The situation with crime is going to be very serious this year. You're going to see all types of stuff. And I don't have to tell you, I think somebody just killed 5 people in a gay club recently. 18-year-old high school girl was found shot in a hotel, I think downtown, was Hilton Garden Inn in D.C. My thing is, you kill somebody in a hotel, you already know that they have a person of interest already pictured. If this is in fact the individual, whoever he is, it's a very good picture of him, so they already know who they're looking for. But to go in a hotel, and I don't know if it was accident, possibly accident, because the youngins have no knowledge of weapons other than pulling the trigger, and they're not even pulling the trigger, they're jerking the trigger, which causes the rounds to go all over the place. When you jerk the trigger, your rounds that you're shooting are not going to be accurate. Actual marksmanship is trigger control and sight alignment. These individuals have no clue. They just firing a gun. Most of the time, gun Glock they might have a 30-round clip. Now, a 30-round clip is an aftermarket magazine that goes into a Glock. It's not made for it, so a lot of times what will happen, it'll jam. A lot of times it's so heavy, the individuals are high off weed or Percocets or whatever, they gun dragging the ground, they still fire. It's hitting everything but the target, including a baby in a car seat, which took place. The individual Tyler was shot on Suitland Parkway a couple of years ago, and that didn't make too much news. A lot of people don't even know that happened. Bullets went through the car, tore through the car seat, tore through the baby, killed the baby. Now, recently, a gentleman just had put, I don't know if he was interviewed, but he was going through some area of D.C. and had to put his little girl down in his lap and try to speed through because somebody got into a shootout in his vicinity. Not that he was involved, but he thought maybe his daughter was going to get killed. He tried to get out as quick as possible. But it just goes to show you they don't care about the fact that you might be in the area, the fact that I might be in the area. Stray bullets don't have no name. And the police have no clue and they have no grip on crime. Don't get me wrong. I personally know Chief Conti, nice guy, but I don't know if his hands are tied as far as dealing with Muriel Bowser or what. But I can honestly say right now the Metropolitan Police Department doesn't have a clue and has no plan for combating crime. They don't even have enough people to meet minimum staff. And I spoke with some officers tonight because I had to get a copy of a report. And the individuals told me that they don't even have days off for the most part. A lot of the days off are being canceled due to the lack of manpower, all types of various details, and just crime in general. The rim theft, I got a video on that. That's something that the Metropolitan Police Department could easily catch the individuals doing. It happened for the most part at a certain time of night, 2 or 3 in the morning. It's obvious if you got a van or something riding around, conduct a traffic stop. Now, I'm not saying just pull a van over randomly for the hell of it. You need a reason to stop the vehicle, a violation. If you stay behind somebody long enough, they'll commit a violation. Believe me, I've done it. And I've rolled behind people long enough that I felt like something wasn't right. And of course, they'll change lanes. They get nervous and maybe change lanes without using a hand or mechanical signal. You got a reason to pull them over. Now, I'm not saying pull them over because their vehicle is so-called suspicious. It's got paper tag. That's not good enough. You can't even pull a vehicle over in D.C. if they are beside you and you can smell or see a little smoke coming out of it like Cheech and Chong, unless it's clearly obstructing their vision in your opinion as an officer. But you cannot pull a vehicle over for the scent of marijuana by itself. That's deep. So that means the individual could actually roll up and smoke a joint or have a blunt. You can't really stop them for that because you don't know for sure that that's marijuana. You can say that you smell it, but that could be coming from another car. If you pull that individual over and you say that's the reason, that's going to be a problem with that traffic stop. That's not valid. You need something like changing lanes without a hand or a mechanical signal, or doing reckless, just going through a yellow light or something like that. But the scent of marijuana is not good enough. And you're dealing with a lot of people that are driving high. I don't want to even talk about the people that are texting on their phones. A lot of times you'll be behind somebody and they're driving so slow. You try, what is going on? Get up beside them. Individuals like this, not even looking in front of them. I see that a lot. Try to stay away from the individuals. Once I see that, let me get away because this individual will be in the back of my car running into me, more or less paying attention to their phone. Police, like I said, don't enforce traffic anymore like they used to. If you notice, you'll see a lot of cars with all types of modified exhaust, all types of stupid stuff, green flashing lights when they back up. All that stuff is illegal. Only ambulances, police, and all types of commercial vehicles are allowed to have those colors and stuff. You see individuals with all types of colored, all types of tint, front windows tinted, which is illegal, 5% tint where you can't see anything, limousine tint. Police don't even waste their time stopping no more because nobody wants to lose their pension over the case or charge of being racially profiled, being accused of being racially profiling someone. A lot of times that's not the case. You got some officers that do it. I'll be the first to tell you it's not going to stop because most individuals in the academy, a lot of times they have no clue of working in an urban environment. A lot of them are real scary. A lot of them have not worked with other ethnicities. So a lot of times how they talk to you, they'll be talking down to you because they're in fear, and that's not an excuse. There's not a lot of training as far as dealing with the community. You got your basic training in the police academy, but there's no type of real training where the citizens really get to come and talk to the police and engage in some respectful, intelligent dialect without it turning into a screaming match and all that. There should be some form of there's some situation where they have community come and talk about the things they don't like the police do, and let the police express with some of the things that they don't particularly like. Like, hey, you know, you don't have to say F the police because I just pulled up to take a report for somebody else. Bunch of youngers out there screaming F the police. This guy's here to take a burglary report for Miss Johnson, and everybody's out front or the apartment or home or whatever screaming F the police. Why would you want to draw all that negative attention to you? Especially if you got some paraphernalia or some type of criminal evidence on you. You going, come on now. That's just straight stupidity. But individuals do it. It's almost like you want to antagonize the police. Years ago, we wanted to stay away from the police. We was walking through alleys and anything to cut school to avoid the police. This is when the police would actually chase you for being a curfew violator, or not a curfew violator, a truant, being a violation of truancy, cutting school. They would take you back to school. Now, man, you can walk out of school 9 o'clock, no matter what your age is, the police are not going to stop you because they don't want that headache. You know, which is good and bad. The bad part is no policing. You got basically a purge going on where crime is just all over the place. Nobody is really doing anything about it. The mayor talks a good game. She got reelected. I don't know how you get reelected when things go downhill. I mean, normally if the city is in a terrible condition, you would think she wouldn't be reelected, but nobody went up against her. I mean, who was to really go up against? I mean, you got Rodney Grant, who's a comedian, and a lot of people are like, well, how can he be a mayor? He doesn't have any experience. Donald Trump didn't have no experience. He became president. So all that's out the window. If the man has common sense and intelligence and has a valid solution for some of the issues, why can't he be given a shot? Like I said, Donald Trump is a prime example. Arnold Schwarzenegger didn't have any experience in politics. You don't need it, depending on who you are. You know what I'm saying? You can get in there and do whatever. So I keep it real. The same should go for everybody else. Even if you watching this video don't have experience in politics. If you have an agenda, a plan, on a good direction to things to go, why shouldn't you run? You know, it would make sense. Now, me personally, I don't want the headache of politics. I did participate in a crime meeting for a PSA, and one of the individuals asked me, would I run for city council and all that? They would back me. Absolutely not. I was flattered, but I'm not going to do anything like that because there's a lot of politics in those positions. As you see, the individual was just resigned, got into the assault. I think it was a deputy. I don't know what he was, the deputy mayor, or whatever he was. Got into a little situation coming out of the gym over a parking situation. I think an individual hit his car. So he supposedly grabbed the individual by his neck, and what led to another thing is, come to find out, he had a apartment that his name was on in DC, but he really wasn't staying in DC. And that's half of the people in the mayor's organization don't live in the city. Now, they might have something in DC with their name on. That's been going on forever. I mean, that's nothing new. And when you're dealing with situations like that, it's always a lot of scandal, and it's always a lot of illegal stuff that goes on behind closed doors in a lot of these political realms. You'd be surprised. Me personally, I'm not, but I'm not going to really go into a long detailed conversation. Excuse me. I just wanted to get that whole situation about the credit card skimmers on, so that you can at least have some type of knowledge and share it with somebody else, because I've seen some victims that have posted some things that they were victims. A couple of individuals got hit for maybe was it $400 down at a bank on 12th Street, not far from Brooklyn Metro Station. I think it was I can't think of the name of the bank, but it's on 12th Street by Brooklyn Metro Station. They got hit. So, like I said, this is a valid bank, and if they can put them on those types of banks, they're everywhere. And the thing is, you can order them online. You can order credit card skimmers online. All you got to do is Google credit cards skimmers for sale. And not that you're going to buy one. I just want you to see that you can just purchase them. And the thing is, if you put them on enough locations, they can't get them all. And that's what the criminals see. And at some point, somebody's going to put their card in there, and we're going to get one. If we got them everywhere, like there was one in 7-Eleven. And everybody knows it's damn near impossible to put one in 7-Eleven unless the individual just went away and just left the person at the register, or unless he was in on it or she was in on it. Which again, like I've spoken before, a lot of individuals are in on the credit card skimmers. You got a lot of night employees, night stalkers that are participating in this, and their cameras, for example, that work. Let's use Safeway for example. You got night stalkers working. There are cameras in the store, but they are not being monitored live for shoplifters, because those people that work in security or whatever are gone home for the night. The most part, they're just the employees restocking. So they got time to do all types of stuff, put all types of stuff on the registers, hidden cameras and what have you. And it's my understanding that some individuals and seasonal employees have actually had cameras on their person that maybe look like a little pen or something, but it was actually a wireless camera. So, these things are placed in locations where they can look down at you, sticking your card in the machine and sliding it out. And when they get to review the footage, they can actually do this in slow motion as they review it. So you ask, like, well, how did they do that? And I just stuck my card in real quick. When it's viewed again, they can slow it down to almost a snail's pace where they got your card coming out very slowly, just like this, and they get to read every number and what have you. So again, be aware of your surroundings and things like that, because it's going to happen. A lot of people are victims of credit card skimmers, not to mention all the other stuff that's going on as far as online. A lot of times you'll go on sites that are online. You might think you're on Macy's.com, but somehow you're not paying attention. It's not really Macy's site. It looks like Macy's. You enter your credit card information or what have you, and next thing you know, you got a crazy charge. So pay attention to the sites you go to. I wouldn't use internet like in public spaces where you have to enter their code, or McDonald's, Starbucks. I personally wouldn't do that, because a lot of individuals go to these places and they supposedly can actually pull your stuff out of the cloud, or they get close enough to you to access what you're doing. And you got some real computer wizards out here that can do this type of stuff. And my thing is, I just don't want to see individuals become victims of crimes and have things taken that they work so hard for, because again, the stuff that you work for, and as hard as you work, somebody's working even harder to take it from you. And theft from autos is big. Don't leave items in your vehicle that are visible. If you're going shopping, use some common sense. Try not to get into the mix. I know it's fun getting out there Friday and rushing into stores for one TV when you can just go online. I mean, some people just do that. Me personally, I never understood. I never was in line standing out in the cold at Tanger outlets. That's not my thing. If you like Tanger outlets, by all means, do what you got to do. I never was really able to find a whole lot of stuff in outlets. When I did go to places, I found out that a lot of the stuff was irregular. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like a misfits. Like you might buy a toy with one of the legs of the doll longer than the other. Some misfit stuff. Irregular jeans. One of the jeans might have a tighter leg than the other. I just personally, you can get some good stuff at outlets. Don't get me wrong, but I just don't have the patience to go through all that merchandise, even if it's a good deal. A lot of times, it's merchandise in these outlets that doesn't sell in the main locations. But if by all means you can get a deal, then that's your thing. Do what you got to do. I just won't be there. I'll be online with everyone else that's doing online shopping, because that's my thing. But again, if you are going out, please watch the video. Black Friday, don't be a victim. There's a lot of good stuff in there that individuals are going to do this year like they did last year. And you had a lot of victims. I think you'll have more victims this year because people are really anxious to get out there and do their shopping. And I understand that, but you got to use common sense. Don't be a victim. If it can be prevented. You're like, oh man, I knew someone, right? That guy, every time I came out of the store, they were still standing outside the store. I went to the other end of the mall, came out of the store, they were still there. You know why they were there? Somebody's breaking in your car, and they want to watch you to see when you get ready to go back to that car, so they can make that phone call like, look man, I think they're going back to the car. Y'all need to beat it. Get out of there. They're going back to the car. You got lookouts. These people actually take the time and do these things real tactful and use good techniques, and as far as technology with the cell phones, the communication. Okay, we got them stopping in parking space so and so. They're on level 6 now. Okay, they're on the elevator. Okay, y'all got time. Go ahead and do what you gotta do. You might have somebody at one end of the lot watching people coming out the elevator, or just blocking it so that they can make that phone. It's really a lot of manpower, woman power, to be politically correct, put in some of the theft. Some individuals actually take the time to actually plan it out, in detail. They're not just snatching your purse and things like that. They actually take the time to actually walk around the lot, looking in cars to see what's in there. Okay, we got a Dodge Caravan, so-and-so tag. Looks like Macy's bag, Saks Fifth Avenue bag. Okay, they're going to be on the fourth space from so-and-so. They're giving this information out. Then the individual's going to break in your car, got this information. They get on the scene or what have you, and it just goes from there. So it's not, for the most part, a real dumb situation where individuals they actually take the time to scout and find things and go, okay, it doesn't look like anybody's been on this top level. On the very top level is where you park in the parking garage when there's nothing else available. Obviously, it's going to take some time to get back to that top level. Most of the time, depending on if the individual is parked a certain way or watching the elevator, they can see them individuals coming. So they got time to break your window and even drive off as you walk into the car, like, okay, somebody's coming this way. We got to get out of here. Next thing you know, it's too late. You can't jump in front of the car. Even if you see them getting out your vehicle, you're going to jump in front of the car and say, halt. It doesn't work like that. You're going to just get run over or you'll get killed in the process, because 9 times out of 10, somebody will have a handgun. It's not worth it. Avoid being a victim if you can. You can do everything right and still be a victim. So the chances of you not being a victim are increased if you just use a little common sense and better judgment. And some individuals are not doing that. Get with your friends. You get distracted. Whole lot going on. Everybody in the car happy. Somebody might have a few drinks back in the back seat. You might be smoking or what have you. And you miss things when you start to get a little impaired. You don't pay attention to that car that's been following you the whole time you've been looking for a parking space in this parking lot or this mall. And the next thing you know, you're trying to figure out, how did they know all this stuff was in the back seat? Some people don't even cover it with a blanket. It's just visible because they're so anxious and what have you. So I'm going to get into the topic of violence. That's a real big topic with the gun violence that's going on. That's not going to slow down because there's no police out here. And even if the police were really doing something, the court systems are actually against mandatory minimums. I mean, it's actually like they're trying to encourage you to commit crimes, especially violent crimes, and just trying to get people passes, reduce sentences. Let's offer you a plea so you can go out there and do the same thing again. It's almost like, look, let them kill each other, and then we'll take over the city, and we'll just push everything up. Just let them out. Let them out. They'll eventually just die off. And for the most part, I think that's how it is sometimes. And some people be like, oh, so what you trying to say is a conspiracy? I'm just trying to say I see it for what it is. Individuals are going to jail on a regular basis. And if you don't go to jail, you get killed. And if you don't get killed, a lot of times you end up on drugs or substance abuse problems. By the time you finally get yourself together, your life has passed you by. Nobody's hiring you, and you've been on coke for like 15, 20 years, and the mileage can show on your face and your body. You just pretty much have wasted your entire life. And like I say, the youngins nowadays on Percocets, they popping pills, they're drinking lean, things like that. That was a suburban thing, sniffing glue and all that type of stupid stuff. Man, we looked at people like they was crazy when we used to see that stuff as Scared Straight things that come to your elementary school. I don't even know if they do that type of stuff no more. And plus, Scared Straight don't work no more anyway, because going to jail is a badge of honor for most youngins. You ask half of these youngins out here in the street, you've been locked up. Oh yeah. I was down so-and-so for a minute, And first thing they do when you get home, they throw a party like you coming home from college or something, which is something else is stupid. But you know what I'm saying? I can't make this stuff up, and I'm going to go into it. I'm going to have some videos coming out like message to the parents. It's going to offend some parents, and I'm cool with that too. I'm going to have some stuff, message to the youth. I'm going to do a boys version. I'm going to do a girls version, which is going to go into everything from hygiene, how these young boys are just looking like rough and dingy and dirty, to how to conduct yourself on an interview. Something they don't teach in school. How to monitor your credit and how to develop your credit. Something they don't teach in school. Most of the public schools are teaching the same BS. And I say BS, I'm probably going to offend some teachers and what have you. And that's cool, because a lot of the stuff that I was learning in school was straight BS. And I know a lot of people, I can't believe you said that. I have no use to this day for algebra. I have no use to this day for geometry. I have no use today for calculus. It's a waste of time. Did I learn anything about credit in school? Absolutely not. My mother taught me. Did I learn anything about paying your bills on time in school? Absolutely not. I learned from my parents. Did I learn anything about conflict resolution and things like that? I learned from my parents. You know what I'm saying? Because if I did something that was out of character, talk back to a teacher or cussed at a teacher, my father was going to put hands on me. Now, to some watching this, they may be like, well, that's child abuse. Nah, I don't look at it as child abuse. I looked at it as discipline, and those beatings kept me out of jail. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't worried about the police. I was worried about what my father was going to do to me. I had more fear for him than any police officer. Now, when I say fear, I know some people might look at, you're not supposed to be scared of your parent. Not that type of fear where he was abusing me. I had fear of the consequences because he held me accountable. That means if I went to school and did something really stupid, I could say, Dad and Mom, the teacher's just picking on me. They just don't like me. I didn't have those type of parents that was going to go down there and encourage the teacher out. My parents took what the teacher said for what it was. If the teacher said I did it, now teachers could have been lying, but they wasn't lying. If they put down that I was talkative, I was talkative. I earned everything that I got as far as D's and what have you, and grades and bad reports for behavior. Now I wasn't doing anything stupid like cursing teachers, but playing in class, talking. I did all that stuff. But the thing I'm saying is a lot of parents now defend and support and encourage delinquency and foolishness and ignorance in children. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times rather than checking on how they doing in school, they worried about Jordans. Or, he said he wanted a pair of Jordans. I got to stand in this line and get him these Jordans. How his grades look? You know what I'm saying? Have you talked to him about what he's going to do when he get out of high school? Have you talked to him about how his appearance is? These are things that they're not going to teach you in school. How to conduct yourself on an interview with for a job. How to dress for an interview. Most schools are not going to tell you or teach you none of that. And again, I say a lot of times, some of the curriculums are straight waste of time. And I know I probably will offend some teachers. I don't care. I'm just calling it like I said. Some of the stuff I took even in college. I was a college dropout. Dropped out of UDC, majored in criminology when I got that acceptance letter in the police academy. By UDC, by college. Could I have went back? Absolutely. Did I? No. Because the objective was to get a career that I could be proud of, where I could support myself, no financial issues or whatever. And the Metropolitan Police Department, one thing about it's got some issues, but I wouldn't change one thing. The only thing I really would have changed is I would have bought more property. I did not buy enough property. Now, I did manage to get some properties in DC, but I should have bought more. But instead, it's focusing on other things, luxury cars. I just didn't have my financial literacy where it should have been. Now, I wasn't reckless, but I could have bought more property. And based on what the properties are worth now in DC, I screwed up. But I'm still living good. The point I'm making is you got to talk to your kids, and that's going to be a whole nother video as far as girls as well, and as far as talking to them about safe sex, laying down with these individuals with no type of protection, no condoms, end up getting pregnant. You don't know anything as it is, let alone trying to raise a child, and that's what you have, basically the blind leading the blind. Now, of course, years ago, there were individuals, obviously our ancestors, that had children at very young ages, 14, 15. The teen pregnancy didn't just start. The difference is that these individuals had work ethic. Although they might have been 15, 14 years old having children, they still had to go out there, work on farms, and do all types of hard labor. There was discipline and accountability. Yeah, she might have a child at a very young age, but they had common sense and they had discipline. Nowadays, you don't really have no parents or no grandmothers really back in the household like back in the day. You got grandparents that look like the damn kids damn near. That's a grandmother, So it's really no accountability. The the lack of morals, things that we went through, and some of y'all can contest to this as being factual. I couldn't listen to all types of rap music and stuff that had cursing. And my mother and them wasn't going for that far. Them going Richard Pryor. You better sneak and listen to it when they wasn't home, or go down the basement, turn it down and listen to it, or catch some Saturday Night Live or something they cursing. Eddie Murphy went wild. Parents wasn't going for that. TV had to be off at a certain time. Telephone. I had my own telephone, but a lot of times if I was out of line, man, they unplugged that telephone and took that. Nowadays, kids don't have no type of discipline. They cursing at their parents. Getting smart with their parents. That's something I'm not familiar with it. That's a foreign language to me, talking back to your parents. Even as an adult, me and my mother had our differences before she passed, but I would never curse at my mother or go hard like some of these youngers. I think if you talk to your parents any kind of way or get out of line, your teeth should be knocked out. And then somebody probably said, man, this police Joe is crazy. No, I'm not crazy. I'm real. You talking to an elder or somebody's grandmother crazy, yeah, your teeth should be knocked out. I'm really not saying what I really want to say. Some real stuff should happen. However, the point I'm making is there's no respect. Just not too long ago, an elderly gentleman, hit a car door with his door. The guy jumped on him and beat him so bad that the individual older man was in his 80s, succumbed to his injuries and died. What if that was your grandfather or your father at a store, maybe going to a grocery store to get a few items, and he hit the door as he was getting out, elderly guy, and they get out and beat him to death? That's somebody's father. Nah, I don't think you should. What should really happen? You should be in the cemetery after doing something like that. Jail is too good. They should plant you in the cemetery. You know what I'm saying? Bro, you alive, but I could care less. 80-year-old man beat to death? Come on, man. That's somebody's grandfather. This man made 80 years through life, probably had all types of stories to share about what he went through, and they beat him to death. Him and a female, another guy and a female beat the guy to death. He succumbed to his injuries, and they probably do a little time, but they'll get out and get to live the rest of their life. So yeah, I don't condone stuff like that. My punishment is a little more severe. I don't believe in that rehabilitation when it comes to certain things. I'm not for it. I don't care if you black. I don't care if you white. I don't care what kind of life you had growing up. I could care less about that. That's meaningless to me. No, I didn't miss meals, and my parents didn't scrape up none of that. I came from a middle class household, but I had accountability and I had discipline. Now all that BS about, well, he had it rough or she had it rough, that's a bunch of BS. That's an excuse. Individual maybe last year had his draft party at a shelter that went to the NFL. And they asked him, well, how would you have your draft party at a shelter? He said, I had it here because me and my mother lived here. So don't give me that bull stuff about he couldn't make it because his parents won't crack or whatever. You can get through anything if you really want to. It's choices. You know what I'm saying? You got an option to make some choices in life. You can either use that and use that as discipline and motivates to push through, or you can use it and sit on it and just follow your parents' footsteps and smoke crack or whatever substance abuse they had. Doesn't mean you have to follow that lifestyle because your mom or father was in jail or what have you. That's a bunch of BS. So half of the people in professional occupations now didn't have it good, but they went on and still got it done. So it's a bunch of excuses. I don't feed into all that BS about it's no jobs out here. It's nothing for the youngers to do. That's a bunch of BS. Youngers, a lot of them don't want nothing in life. No one is going to pay you $100,000 a year just because you graduated from high school. You need more than that. You know what I'm saying? You're not marketable. You want some $400 or $500 Gucci tennis shoes? I got no problem with that because I'll spend the same amount of money on some Ferragamos. Got no problem dropping $600 for some shoes. And somebody might say, man, this dude is a clown. Yeah, but I can afford it. The different thing, I worked for it. I went to school as far as UDC. I dropped out, but I had a goal. You know what I'm saying? I was going somewhere, and it wasn't going to be jail. That wasn't my thing. I can't look at a bunch of dudes all day. Although I'm married now, but I can't see sitting in a cell that's the size of maybe a bathroom. You know what I'm saying? If you want to see what jail is like, spend a couple of days in your bathroom. And and if you really want to know what it's like, have somebody use the bathroom while you in there and you stay in there, because that's how it goes in jail. There's no one cell for the most part. Most of them are paired up 2 at a time or even more. So every time this joker use the bathroom, you got to smell it. Every time you use the bathroom, same thing, he got to smell it. Everybody's hygiene is not the same. So you in this spot with this joker for the next 5 years, it's gonna be a little rough. But the youngers don't care. Going to jail a lot of times now is a badge of honor, which is craziness. They're willing to do something between 5 to 10 seconds and get 15 years. Because it only takes 5 to 10 seconds to kill somebody. 5 to 10 seconds of work and you get 15 years. Now, I wasn't good in math, but that doesn't add up to me. Somehow you want to lose none of that. 5 to 10 seconds of work, 15 years for murder. Because you ain't like what he said or you ain't like his TikTok video. Some of these youngers out here so goofy it's not even funny. You know, you have to hear some of the stories from the detectives when they debrief them. Oh, we had to go at our ops. Your ops? You mean your opponents? Yeah, you know, they put a video up this in our neighborhood, so we had to go down there and see how many we could, you know, get so we could even the score. Clowns. Everybody knows that there's cameras all over DC. No secret. They can pretty much track you all over the city. It's so easy now. They taking pleas because the youngest make it so easy for them, and they on their cell phones. The cell phone places you in the vicinity of the shooting. You say you weren't there. Your cell phone says you were there, clown. You know what I'm saying? But they don't want to hear it. And I always say this and try to talk to some of these youngers. If you don't have a minimum of $300 an hour or up, and I'm talking $300, that's you'll get an average attorney, average $300 an hour. You shouldn't even be in the game of crime and all this shooting. You thugging is too expensive. You can't afford it. If you can't afford $300 for an attorney, you wasting your time because you going to jail or you going to the cemetery. Choose one. And I look at some of these youngers before I retire taking plea deals to offenses they ain't even commit. I'm like talking to the attorney like this. So he's gonna cop a plea fair. So we probably gonna you probably be here till maybe you want to come tomorrow. He's gonna take his plea tomorrow. I said, yeah, absolutely. I'll come and make the money. I know I'm not testifying. He's gonna plead to taking property without right or something stupid. Individual didn't even do that, but he's gonna take a plea to try to beat jail time and take that conviction. Now we know the convictions stack up. Eventually, you get enough convictions. Once you catch that next charge, judge gonna be like, look, this joke got 15 charges. Okay, this time we'll sentence you to 15 years. But because you kept getting out the revolving door, you feel like you got over. You didn't get over. You clown. And I call it like I see it because these youngers just don't get it. You got a court-appointed attorney. He gonna tell you to take a plea because he getting the same amount of money for you as he would the other joker. So why should he go all out? Oh, let's go to trial on this. You're not giving up no money. They taking pleas and they don't know what they plead guilty for. They don't have a clue. You talk and all that no snitching rule. That's some more BS. Let me tell you, I seen the hardest clowns cry when they start holding that time over their hands. They're not gonna hold water. You got 3 or 4 jokers go out here and commit a homicide or a shooting. Somebody gonna talk because somebody gonna tell their girlfriend. Then they ain't gonna call the police and tell the police, but somebody gonna tell their girlfriend, yeah, we were just with Ronnie there. We had to let them jokers have it, man. We went over there and then fired off on them. We don't know who got hit. You tell a girl, and guess what? You and her get to beefing. She gonna tell somebody, or that client had let him go. You know he's always shooting at so and so. Then that word get around. Next thing you know, some money is offered for a reward. Now we already know money talks, BS walks. All that no snitching rule, that sounds good. But when somebody can send an anonymous message and they give you that little number where you'll never be found out and you get that little reward, Joker turn his own mother in. I've seen it happen. I've seen individuals snitch on relatives. I've seen individuals turn state's evidence. So all that so-called hard or no snitching, ain't many youngers out here built like that. I've seen them all. And they'll go to jail in a heartbeat and straight cry, break down. Next thing you know, after a couple of years, you crying. Oh, I should have made the wrong choices in life. I'm ready to change my life. It's too late, Clara. How can you change your life and this man just buried his son and this lady just buried her son? What about the parents? They can't change their life. You just took their loved one. It don't work like that. So like I said, I don't believe in none of this breaks. I don't believe in rehabilitation for murder. You kill somebody and it's not self-defense or something like that, or somebody trying to kill your wife or breaking your house. Something like that, that's different. But if you just killing somebody randomly because you tried to rob them and you was high off the perks and I ain't mean to pop him, but I accidentally popped him, man, you should spend the rest of your life in jail. It's because there's no death penalty. Because I'm with the death penalty. Yes, I am. A lot of people are like, oh my God, this dude, I'm going to have to unsubscribe. You can unsubscribe because it don't affect me financially at all. And like I said before, I got tough skin, so I'm not offended really by anything. In law enforcement, I've been called everything but my name. I've been called nigger, and I'll say the whole word because I don't care. By white people, been called it by black people, been called all types of stuff. You a sellout. Yeah, okay. In one ear and out the other. In my mind, I'm like, okay, this dude in handcuffs, he's supposed to be mad. Or this woman is locked up for DUI. She's supposed to be mad. She got a little alcohol in her. So naturally, she going to say nigga, but she wouldn't say that if she ain't had the handcuffs on and impaired. And this same woman may work around black people. This same individual may work around other people and calling them out their name or what have you. This don't faze me. So I'm not bothered by anybody I offend. I'm not going to purposely offend anybody. I'm just going to give you my reality. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't want reality. They rather have it sugarcoated. I'm not going to sugarcoat nothing. Actually, if the death penalty was given within a, how can I say this? Unbiased manner. Meaning, I don't want to see nobody black get the death penalty and then somebody Indian or white or another ethnicity commit the same crime and they get jail time. But the black guy gets the death penalty. The black woman gets the death penalty. Now, if it's done even Steven and everybody gets this, we playing by the same rules, I'm with it. But if you're going to execute this ethnicity and this guy do the same thing and you're not going to execute him because his background or maybe his father was a judge, I don't care nothing about that. Even if his father was a police officer, if it's a death penalty, he deserves death too. She deserves death too. If there's a death penalty, I'm just saying, if it's done proportionally right without discriminating, I would be for it. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe in that jail time. I believe in for eye. That's kind of harsh. I don't believe in all that rehabilitation. And when it comes down to forgiving someone for committing murder, that's easy to say you would do, but if your child is lying on the sidewalk bleeding out because some individual killed him or her because they didn't like the neighborhood they come from, maybe it's in you to be strong enough to forgive. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't have that kind of strength. It's just not there. So hopefully I never experienced that. I'll never find that out. I did lose a stepson to gun violence, and I treated him just like my own son. So I do have experience with it. As hurtful as that was not my own blood. So it's a totally different situation. Although there was no types of discrimination with him being my wife's child, it would be a whole nother atmosphere if it was my own daughter. You know what I'm saying? Because I saw what my wife went through when her son was killed, and I had to go over there to the scene. It's a real deep situation, and nobody can say they understand or I know how you feel unless you've had a child killed. I'm not talking about losing a child to cancer or something like that. Losing a child to health illness and losing a child to murder is like night and day. It's not the same. Now the laws, okay, that hurts regardless. But when somebody takes your child's life, that's something that could be avoided. That's something that someone took upon themselves to play God and kill your child or take your child's life. Now, cancer, health illnesses and things like that, we can't control those. You know what I'm saying? But when somebody takes your child's life over neighborhood beef, I mean, you got to go to the morgue, or not to the morgue, but to the, what is it called? I should know. The funeral home. When you got to go to the funeral home, after that child is made up and presented for the funeral the next day, and see your child laying in the casket, because you got to go there to approve it if everything looks right or what have you, so they can make any type of cosmetic changes. Put yourself in that situation and in that scenario right now. I don't want to see that happen. Anybody that's actually watching this video, put yourself in a scenario where you've got to go to a funeral home and check out your child in that casket to be sure everything is right. I had to do that with my wife for my stepson, which is my son. I won't even really use that as my son. I'll just say son, but you know where I'm coming from. It didn't change the pain that I went through seeing him in a casket. You know what I'm saying? This is the same individuals at my house for Christmas came in, bought me a bottle of Moet, and for my birthday, Christmas, and what have you. And I'm not a Moet person, so it's still on my bar. And I'll probably give it to his daughter, once she's able to drink. I'm not probably recommending that she drink it once she gets legal of age, but I'm just saying, you don't know what it's like unless you've lost a child or murder. When you go into that funeral home and there's nothing you can do, and you got a wife that's crying, that's losing her mind, it ain't nothing you can do but look at her and pray. You can't tell her it's going to be all right. The cliche thing everybody says, it's okay, prayers to the family. That's a bunch of BS. Now, I'm not saying that from a religious aspect, or I'm bringing negativity to a religion, but the prayers and all that stuff, that doesn't go a long ways. I'm being honest with you. You always hear the chief of police say prayers to the family after somebody's juvenile gets killed, somebody's child. It's BS because they say the same thing for the next one and the next one, and there's no action. The police department, chief police, whatever, it's nothing going on. And I can't say it's his doing or it's the mayor got his hands tied behind his back, but I can't say the Metropolitan Police Department is doing absolutely nothing as far as retaliating for crime in the city. It's a joke. But when you hear this and somebody might have the audacity to say, I know how you feel. No, you don't. You don't know how they feel unless you lost a child. Or he's in a better place or she's in a better place. BS. Don't tell nobody that. It sounds good, it's cliche, but what better place would the person be other than with their loved ones or with their parents? The child is in the grave. Fort Lincoln, Harmony Cemetery, wherever they buried, that's where they are. What you mean they're in a better place? A better place in the cemetery? Now, I can get that maybe if the individual had cancer, suffering stage 4 cancer, in hospice or something like that. And even then, you shouldn't say that. There are things to say when you're dealing with death, and there are things not to say. And that's another video I'm going to make. Got a lot of experience with death, with the Metropolitan Police Department, and just in life. I've experienced a lot of death. So I'm pretty good with death. Not that I want to be. It just happens that I've experienced a lot of death. So I know how it works. But what I was not experienced with is dealing with murder. That's something that I had never dealt with, murder of a loved one. So that was a whole different situation. When you got a wife or a woman that is screaming every night, all night, and there's nothing you can do. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing you can do. COVID has taken place, so you can't go nowhere. You have just retired, so you got no job. You got to sit there and deal with it. Now, we got through it. We still have our ups and downs, but the bottom line is murder is a whole different animal when you lose a child because someone took it upon themselves to kill your child. Now, in this particular situation that I'm referring to, the individual is incarcerated. The trial has not actually started due to the backup and backlog of cases of murder during COVID. A lot of individuals were charged, and it's a backlog of criminal cases in the D.C. Superior Court. Don't want to see anybody ever experience that. Some people watching this probably have experienced it. You might have lost a child or what have you, and my condolences to you if you are watching this and you have lost a loved one. But murder is a whole different situation. And like I said, I experienced a lot of things, especially death, but I had never experienced the actual death of a loved one that young. You know what I'm saying? And it's something that I'm going to go into. I'm going to wrap this up because I really just wanted to go into the subject of skimmers, credit card skimmers, and I always go off topic and get into some other stuff, which hopefully nobody has a problem, but I'm just speaking real. And I'm going to go into some things when it comes down to the youth, as far as the females being a little reckless. And, you're getting females doing just as much as dirt as the dudes now. Females shooting and killing guys and all that stuff, carrying guns, and it's reckless, you know what I'm saying? And I want to talk to the females and the youth, as far as the boys, about a variety of things from hygiene to drugs to sexual intercourse. I'm not gonna get all deep and like I'm teaching a class or something, but it's gonna really be some common sense topics, and you can watch it with your kids or let your kids watch it by themselves. But I'm gonna really spit some serious knowledge because these youngins out here are reckless. Some of them have, well, I ain't gonna say some, a lot of them have absolutely no guidance, none. They're pretty much just running amok. You know what I'm saying? And even if they don't have parents, it's not an excuse. If you don't have parents, then like I said, you'll be able to maybe watch one of the videos. Maybe somebody's child can learn from something I say and maybe do the right thing other than being attached to their phones 24/7. Back in my day, and you used to hear your parents say that all the time. I used to hate it. But now I get it. My mother used to always tell me stuff. My father, man, what you doing? We done already done. I was like, there's no way. They ain't with no go-go out back then. And I'm going to see Ray Essence. I'm going to see Chuck. They don't know what they talking about. They actually did do the same stuff I did. It just was different times, but the same BS. So they were aware when I was trying to get over or doing something stupid. I wasn't out here doing anything like shooting anybody or stabbing up anybody or robbing nothing. I just, fear for jail was real for me. I just wasn't down to go look at a bunch of dudes all day and get commissary and get charged like $2 for $3 for a pack of high-priced cookies and all that stuff, trading cookies and cigarettes. I don't smoke no cigarettes, but all that stupid stuff that go on in jail. Making oodles of noodles or spread with barbecue sauce, crumbling up Fritos and all that stuff on them to make a spread. Y'all probably went like, "Oh, hold up, dude, you been locked up? You know a lot about jail." Yes, I know a lot about jail. Remember, I was a police officer. I have talked to individuals that I had to transport, deal with over the course of 29 years that were incarcerated. So I mean, you can know about it without actually being a part of it. And I just wasn't my thing. So if you choose to live a life of jail and frequent the criminal justice system back and forth, that's your thing. But I already know the cards are stacked against you. Most of the time, if you are a youth, you can't compete with the system because you don't have the finances. You don't have the finances to hire a real replica attorney to really represent you. Have these youngers come to court, dirty clothes, or they got the jeans sagging, they got the latest Jordans on. You look stupid in court dressed like you were when you stuck the person up. You got the same basic stuff on that you did the robbery in, but different colors. So naturally, the judge is not going to give you no leniency. Now, if you clean yourself up, got to shape up, and if you wear locks or braids in your hair, if you got them done, or at least put some oil on that dry hair that looks like carpet, you might get somewhere. So yeah, I'm going hard. Because this is how and what I saw in court. Individuals coming to D.C. Superior Court reeking of marijuana. You so stupid, you going to come to court off weed. I mean, come on, that show you they don't take it serious. You know what I'm saying? But you go to some federal courts or you go to some courts in other jurisdictions, you come to court like that if you want in certain areas of Virginia. Judge is going to run right up in you. And to some, they might get offended by the way I said that. And when I say run right up in you, that means that the judge is going to violate you. Meaning you want to be stepped back, you're going to get some time, you say something stupid, judge will have the marshals take you right out. But see, in D.C., it's a joke, and they kind of encourage you to keep coming back. Let him out this time. Give him the benefit of the doubt. He came from a rough home. His mom was on drugs. His father was on crack. Straight BS. Keep going, and all they want you to do is follow in your mother and father's foot tracks, or your grandmother was this and that, or where they came up rough. So what? A lot of people came up rough. That's no excuse. That's just a crutch that you want to stand on. You can do better if you know better. And that's why I'm doing these videos. So somebody will see them and maybe be like, you know what? Dude got a point. I got to cut these jokers off. Like I said, everybody that come with you can't go with you. I got a lot of friends I grew up with. No dealings with them now. You know what I'm saying? People laughed at me when I went in the police academy. Oh, you the man, you the fed, you crazy. Same people laughed at me still working. I haven't worked since 2019. I'm not going to work. That chapter is closed. The book is closed. I retired at age 50. No intentions on going back. And that's not slapping nobody in the face that's still working. If you're still working, get that money. You know what I'm saying? I just chose a different route. But it wasn't jail. You know what I'm saying? You try coming home from jail, it's hard. There's no more halfway houses in D.C. Muriel Bowser got rid of that. Who knows what she did with the halfway house over in Langston? So now you got to go somewhere else. Most of the time, your loved ones can't really get to see you to support you. It's all set up so you fail. But I'm going to go into that and really go into some details why and how they got this system set up basically like slavery. So you just keep coming back and keep getting that paper made for the individuals that's got stock in prisons, got stock in the cell phone. I mean, not the cell phones, just got stock in the carriers that handle the phone calls in prisons and all that. And also, I'm going to go into the subject of, there's a thing, I forgot the name of it. It's some type of device that they have in prisons that can capture all of the illegal phones and the actual conversation and text messages that go on in prison. So yeah, they let you get away with getting a cell phone in there because they know how stupid and goofy individuals are to talk on the cell phones. A lot of times turn the cell phone right back on after they shoot somebody, or some of them too stupid and high to turn the cell phone off. Cell phone got you right in the vicinity of the shoot. How you going to explain you wasn't there when your cell phone say you were there? Look, I'm going to close out. Watch the video, Black Friday, don't be a victim, because there's going to be a lot of victims out there. If you don't believe me, watch the news Friday night after Black Friday. I won't be out there in the madness. I'll be chilling online, trying to get the prices that y'all going in the stores to get, and probably have a nice cigar or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But don't be a victim. Use some common sense and subscribe, share, watch the video. The credit card skimmers are a big thing. Talk to your folks, your wife, your girl, your kids, if they're going to be out in these malls, because there's going to be a whole lot of sticking up going on. I ain't got to tell you what's going on in Capitol Hill. I don't have to tell you what's going on in Georgetown. They're having a free fall down there. This stuff don't even make the news. They're robbing so many people down in Georgetown. It's a pandemic of crime. They're not going to tell you this. They're not going to tell you all the carjackings that's going on in Capitol Hill. They're not going to tell you how many rims getting stolen every night in D.C. because the police not actively patrolling. But I tell you. Look, I'm gone. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Subscribe, share, and don't be a victim. I'm gone.